What if I told you there's no healing without love? It sounds cliche, it can sound idealistic or even silly, but love is the answer and it wins every time. And it's a medicine for our souls that we all need. And then how do we do it? The Tougher Together Breakthrough podcast is brought to you by RebeccahSilence.com. Please visit RebeccahSilence.com today. That's RebeccahSilence.com to learn more about programs for individuals, couples, children, families, and businesses. See for yourself at RebeccahSilence.com. RebeccahSilence.com. What's possible for your next steps in breakthrough and healing. So what is a breakthrough? It's finding your way out of suffering and stuck. It's that feeling of new energy, renewed life, and excitement. When I was 7 months pregnant with my second baby, I received a life-changing diagnosis. I had cancer. When I told my older daughter, she said, "So you're going to die?" And the only thing that saved my life during that time was knowing how to emotionally break through. Welcome to the Tougher Together Breakthrough podcast. I'm your host, Rebeccah Silence. I'm a speaker, coach, and the creator of Healing is Possible. In each episode, I prepare you for life no matter what challenges you're facing. I'm going to invite you into the stories of real people who are living life in breakthrough and making the world a better place. If they can do it, so can you. Breakthrough is your right. Get ready to break through. Get ready for the rest of your life. On this episode of the Tougher Together Breakthrough podcast, I am so excited to dive in to relationship. And I want to talk about love in a way that maybe you haven't heard before. I want to talk about, the possibility of absolutely learning how to have both your independence and a relationship. I want to talk about the possibility of healing your relationship with yourself more deeply and falling in love with yourself more today. And then finally, I'm also going to talk about the possibility of literally falling in love with everyone you meet. Tall order, absolutely. I'm up for the challenge. Are you? Let's just consider, the possibilities are endless when it comes to love. And we do so much measuring of love, meaning deciding who's worth it, who's not, when it's okay, when it's not, and also we measure how much love we think we're getting. So let's just dive right in. So how do we actually love more when we're hardwired, as Brené Brown says, for love and connection? And I believe we absolutely are. And I also believe that an experience of love is available to you and to me and to all of us, no matter what's going on. And by now, we're in the thick of season 2 of this podcast. If you've been listening, by now, you know a little bit about me. And this life of mine, it hasn't been easy at times, and it's been dark at times. So I'm not sitting here idealistic. I'm not sitting here saying to you, oh, it's all possible, and my life has been sunshine and rainbows and all love. No, I grew up in a home full of addiction. There was abuse on multiple levels. And then that experience I had of a little girl feeling like my love experience was based on what I did or didn't do. What I'm very clear about is that's a pattern many, many, many of us run, if not all of us, right? We learn what we have to do to get love. And we learn what we did that messed it all up without even having words. Kids don't have words for all of these big feelings and all of these painful experiences and hurts that we have, and we carry it with us. And I promise you, anytime you're suffering, whether you're in that moment in your relationship with yourself or in a moment where you're in a relationship with other people, if you're suffering, that inner child in you is just desperate and starving for love and very confused and unclear about how to get it. So we're going to clear some of that up today on this episode and give you some real hacks to have a better experience in relationship and with your relationship with love. Write it down somewhere. What did I learn about love? Where were the mixed messages? Where was it heartbreaking? Where was it confusing? But just start simply with, what did I learn about love? And what I'm here to say is it can be different starting today, because we're going to wake you up to more ammunition and gas that you can put in your soul tank that has you being more love and therefore experiencing love more and more and more. And that is the ticket. That is the secret sauce formula. It's when you're not getting the love you want, you've got to give more. But we don't want to do that because this person was a jerk, or this person abused me, or this person neglected me, or this person is just not worth my time. These stories we tell ourselves about people keep us disconnected from ourselves and from others, but most of all from connection and possibility. And really all love is an experience of being connected and an experience of seeing possibility, even if it's hard. Even when it doesn't seem like there's a solution. I promise you, from the depth of my being, there is always possibility available to you. And when you can't see it, it's because your love tank is empty and you're all clogged up with emotional gunk. And we got to find a way to get it out. So a couple of rules when it comes to relationship that will change your life forever, if you will let them, are: number one, when you want to get more love, give more love. Simple, not easy, absolutely something to try that will change your life, I promise. But again, you can't determine who's worth it or not. Think about every person you come into contact with, even the darkest, even the most contradicting your values type people. They want love too. We all do. My first mentor, Carol Reynolds, used to say, all people are either loving or crying out for love. It changed my life to think about it like that. When people are all shitty and just full of their horseshit, they're crying out for love. Oh my goodness. What if I could be a space to bring more love to the table, even with the people it seems the hardest to do that with? What type of a person would that make me? What type of a ripple would I have? What amount of love and light would I be spreading that's like the pay it forward game that would just keep going in a way that I would never know how far or wide it went? And I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm just saying you can. So give more instead of worrying about what you're getting. And then the second thing is absolutely no withholding you and your ability to love. If you want to kill a relationship lightning speed, withhold. Withhold your love, withhold your truth, withhold your heart, put armor around your heart, shut down, be an ice king or an ice queen or an ice person. And then you guarantee your relationships are dead. The good news is there's a way to do CPR. The relationships don't have to be dead forever, but it's so easy to just want to go into damage control and self-protection and withholding mode when relationships feel like they're hurting us. But I have a secret. Relationships are never hurting you. Relationships are helping you see how healed you are or not, period. The other person, the situation, is never the cause of your pain. It's pain that's gunked up, that's clogged up, that really is so heavy and that you're carrying around every day, I promise you, until you deal with it. And there's never a good time and there's never a right way. It's just, again, back to possibility about a willingness from you, a commitment from you to care more about melting the ice around your heart so you can connect with yourself and other people than about your judgments and who you think is worth it or not, or what you think will make things better or worse or not. Your strategies to make things better in relationship, if you're suffering in relationship, aren't working. So here are some counterintuitive ideas to try on. I want miracles for you. I know you want love if you're listening. And I know that you can have a breakthrough today about how you can experience more love and get more love by being a person that gives more love when it gets hard, and by being a person that refuses to withhold and risks it. I used to play a game where I just tell myself, like, okay, it's hard, it's scary, but here's me on a platter. take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave the best of me and all I can have and all I can be in any given moment. And the same is true for you, is the best of you. And it's not about perfection. We're going to screw up and screw up and screw up and make mistakes and hurt people meaning to and hurt people without meaning to. And then what are we going to do about it? Are we going to give up on ourselves? Are we going to give up on love? Are we going to give up on relationship? Or are we going to try again and try harder in new ways until we experience that connection and that love and that bliss that we've been dreaming about and craving? I want you to have it. And I'm here to help. I'm here to give you some things to chew on. And some of this might be confronting and some of it might be hard, but this is a breakthrough podcast. And the way to break through is to confront the hard stuff. And we're a community. We're together in this, all of us. No one's alone here. And you can have what you want when it comes to relationships as long as you don't give up. And the bitch of it is you're going to repeat the patterns in relationships that have you end relationships or blow relationships up or run away or have you a puddle on the floor like I've been over and over and over again until you get through it. And we think, oh, it's just the wrong person. I'm here to tell you it's not the wrong person. You're going to attract the same dynamics and the same triggers in different ways with different characters in different costumes until the pattern has broken through. So for example, if you have a pattern in relationships where you feel rejected or abandoned or betrayed or dropped or misunderstood or disrespected or cheated or owed, or I could just go on and on and on, but you get the picture here. It's not the person that's causing you to feel this way or to experience this pattern. It's all just clogged up emotional gunk and garbage and woundedness that you're still carrying with you from your past. It's, again, never the person in front of you. It's never the situation. It's you being activated and experiencing a trigger that hasn't healed yet until you heal through and break through the trigger. And you can. But we think certain wounds are just a death sentence. We think certain traumas, they happened. It's just going to be what it is. There's no way to heal through it. There's no coming out the other side. There is no life on the other side. And I'm going to challenge you today that your ability to love yourself more and love other people more will help change trauma patterns and can be the beginning of you getting to the other side. But if you don't think you can get to the other side, you're going to be right. And I'm here to challenge you that you can. So next thing I want you to write down is what is the pain pattern in relationships that I'm holding on to, and get it to one boiled down word. What's the one word that you keep experiencing over and over and over and over again like Groundhog Day? What is it? What is the pain pattern? You know, my big one was abandonment. I felt so abandoned and alone as a little girl. And the thing about it is it's not anybody's fault. We spoke to this in the generational healing episode this season. It's not our parents' fault how we feel or what we make up about our worth or our lives in our childhood. They did the best they could based on the programming that they survived. But if we continue those patterns and stay in survival, especially when it comes to relationships and love, then it's going to be Groundhog Day. And I really believe that the triggers are activated when we're ready to heal them, but then our minds tell us it's too hard, it's too painful, we're not ready, we can't do it. I believe we can. I absolutely believe we can. And it starts with giving more, choosing not to withhold and open our hearts instead. And then let's talk about how do you maintain independence and have relationships. We are so programmed for codependence. We are so programmed to think that love means we have to be a certain way to get love, and that if we're not the way we should be, we're going to lose love. And I have never met a person that isn't codependent. I am absolutely every single day of my life on the teeter-totter of codependence, trying to navigate how do I stay true to me? How do I stay committed to other people? And not because of fear and codependence meaning my emotional experience is all wrapped up in and enmeshed with theirs, and I've lost me, and I've lost sight of them as a separate being, and we're all of a sudden the same thing, me, you, and the relationship we're in. That's codependence, where we lose sight of, wait a minute, there's me, there's you, and there's a relationship here to navigate. It's not all the same thing. And we really think, again, when it comes to codependence, that we have the power to make or break people. And we don't. We don't. We are not that powerful. We do have the power to impact people, but they're going to choose the experience and their next steps that they want, no matter what we do. People that are committed to running find a way and a reason to run. I know. I've moved states and men and jobs over and over and over. I was the ultimate gypsy in my 20s and in my teenage years, not wanting to commit to anything. I joked for a long time that my dog Kayla, when I was 22, I got Kayla. She was the first thing I ever committed to on purpose. I didn't want to commit to anything. And that was because I was so not committed to me. I was a shell of a person for a lot of years. And the cool part about that time in my life is it was like an incubation period. And I really got to see the cost of caving on me and giving myself up and not being committed to myself and my life in a healthy way, and being committed to eating disorders and abuse patterns and abuse cycles with myself and with others. And I had grown up with all that, and I thought that was all I was worth. And in a weird kind of messed up way, there's a lot of power in staying a victim in relationships. We just get to be in control of the experience that we've been having, and we get to be right that this is all there is, but it's misery, isn't it? So I want us to really take on our relationship with ourselves and think about it like, okay, how am I nurturing my freedom and my independence when it comes to my relationship with myself and when it comes to my relationship with other people? So I've got 3 ways for you today to maintain your sense of self and independence in relationship that I want to talk about next. Okay, the first step in maintaining your sense of self and independence in relationships, and it starts with your relationship with yourself, is you have got to be ruthless about how honest you are. Starts with yourself, and only from there can you be honest with other people. And this means only agreeing to things that you actually want. This means no white lies, no being afraid to rock the boat. This means really recognizing that the more honest you are, the more connection and healing is possible. And when you withhold that honest truth, you are building a wall between you and other people, between you and your soul and yourself, if you're doing it with you. And there is never anything so bad about your truth that it's going to hurt people. So let's break this one down. What does it mean to be honest with yourself? What it means is to not be attacking and telling people what they did or how they made you feel. That's not the truth, because they didn't make you feel anything. You already have this emotional gunk again that you're carrying around, the fear that this is going to happen to you again, that you keep proving right if you're in that same experience. So hard truth. I'm not giving people a free pass. I'm not saying they didn't do what they did, but they aren't making you feel how you feel. The experience you're having, I want you to be honest about owning it. And when you start with that, man, does it make you more attractive and lovable, just like that. So an example would be, I'm feeling really scared right now. I'm feeling really alone right now. I'm feeling really misunderstood right now. I'm feeling just like I did when I was 5 years old and I got locked in that basement by my mother. I'm feeling just like I did when I was 12 and didn't get picked up from school and had no ride home and was sitting on the front porch steps of the school just waiting for anyone to care about me enough to show up. This is honest. This is vulnerable. This is real. And it's never going to hurt anybody. And when you say, I'm feeling threatened, when you say, I'm feeling confused, when you say, I'm feeling challenged because I want to run away, but I'm not going to, but everything in me wants to run. Thank you for being here with me. Do you see how it starts to build connection? So we dance around our truth in relationships and we wonder why we're miserable. And we don't know how to necessarily own our truth and our experience and how we feel without putting it on the other person. And again, that just creates more disconnection. So you've got to be careful about what you agree to. If you're resentful, that wasn't an honest communication. That wasn't an honest decision. You got to get responsible for if you're resentful, you weren't honest about what you needed, wanted, how you felt, or what would work better. If you're wronged, you got to be honest about, I'm holding on to pain from my past and I'm projecting it onto you. This is a lot, but it is possible to go here. And it is up to you to not lose your sense of self in your relationships. Okay, the second thing is I want you to decide that the relationships are strong enough for you to be able to be honest. And you've got to do this before you have any evidence, or you're never going to create the evidence. So what I mean is you've got to decide that the relationship can take your truth. If you're afraid your truth is going to push somebody away or have them leave you so you're not honest, then you just did the power play of pushing them away and putting more cracks in the foundation of the relationship. You've got to decide the relationship can handle it, and then we'll find out. So people do one of three things when they get confronted. And when you change the game, we also have to take responsibility here for people are used to you the way you've been, right? So when you start to get more honest, or when you stop agreeing to things that don't really work for you because you're all done people pleasing and you're all done with codependent, just I'm going to be who you need me to be so the love doesn't go away nonsense. When you start to step up and get real, and it will be messy at first, it is not going to be all graceful and loving and gorgeous right away. This takes practice and it's hard. But again, you got to just commit to deciding the relationship can take it. And if it can't, you deserve that information. So people do one of three things when it gets really hard. They either work with you easily, which in my experience, when it comes to relationships and conflict in relationships, that one doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often. The second thing that can happen is they get mad and they get over it. And that one happens almost all the time. And if you're afraid to have the other person reacting in a way that you think is negative because you were honest, so you're not going to be honest, A, you didn't give them a chance to work with you, grow with you, show up for you, and B, what are you, God? You don't know, right? How they're going to react until you try. And we all want to be given the opportunity to be better in relationships, whether we admit it or not. It's not we want to be who the other person needs us to be. We want to be our best in the relationships, and we're trying. And then I'm just throwing at you some new ways and new things to try that potentially you haven't tried or you haven't been consistent about. And that's the other thing. My husband and I, for example, our fights are epic. And nothing's wrong when I have a negative reaction or he has a negative reaction. We get to be human, but we get to find the win-win. We get to find the solution that has us both feel free and more connected. And if we're afraid to be honest because we don't want to rock the boat, we don't get to the point where we found that solution that has us feel more free individually and together. And it exists. And the third thing that can happen when you're honest and you're real and you're brave is that the other person might go away. And that's hard and that's painful, but you're weeding out the garden. You deserve to have people in your life that are willing to have the hard conversations, that are willing to get through conflict, that are willing to grow with you, and are willing to be with you raw, real, and messy. That's what I want for you. So the third thing is I want you to be way more concerned about losing you than losing other people. I want you to be way, way, way more concerned about giving you up to have some fake bullshit quasi relationship. You be the best of you. You'll attract people that are trying to be the best of them. And we're the best of ourselves so we can be better for people, I believe. And the world needs us at our best. And the world needs us in breakthrough about all the ways we run from relationship and from conflict. And the conflicts we have with other people are just conflicts we have with ourselves. These other people are just a mirror to help you see where you haven't healed yet and what healing is possible for you. And healing is possible and breakthrough is possible. And I want this so much for you. Relationships can be so much fun. Relationships can be, instead of two unhealed inner children going to battle, the adults rising to the occasion. I'm so honored to get to do couples intensives where I literally watch couples meet the adult and the soul that they chose versus the unhealed inner child that they've been living with for years or decades or whatever it's been. I want to tell you a quick story about a big relationship breakthrough I had and then answer some questions. So when I was getting divorced, I remember knowing it was the right decision, but I was all heartbroken and scared. And I had remembered that Dr. Phil said somewhere along the line, I had heard this, that if you're in drama, you're not ready to leave a relationship. You're not ready for a divorce. And I had this one night where I went on Dr. Phil's website. I was bawling my eyes out. It was 2 a.m. and I really wanted to get to the place where I felt free and clear so that I could get divorced from an empowered place. And we can't skip that grieving process. And I knew I was in drama, even though at the time I didn't really understand what that meant. So I'm on Dr. Phil's website and I'm trying to read articles about what I can do. And then I see this, tell us your story. And I just started journaling to Dr. Phil in the middle of the night about my marriage and my heartbreak and how confronted I was and how wronged I was and all the things that had happened. And at 7 a.m., the producers started to call me and they wanted to fly my husband and I out and they wanted to help us save our marriage. And I was a school counselor at the time and I'm telling the vice principal and the other school counselor and the social worker, oh my gosh, Dr. Phil wants to have us on the show. Oh my gosh. And I called my husband and he's like, yep, let's do it. And that was the moment where I was clear. I didn't need to lose me to keep that relationship. And I absolutely didn't want the dynamics and the patterns that I had been in to continue. And it was this lightning bolt of clarity that I could be love, not withhold myself. I could be honest about my life and where it was going and what my boundaries were and what I was unwilling to continue to be a part of. And I could commit to not losing me to have him. And I declined the offer to go to Dr. Phil and I got a divorce and it was brutal, but I survived. And what I know is that you can survive relationship conflict. And until you're in an empowered place, you're not healed yet. And until you're clear, like so neutral, that's how you know you're clear. It's neutral. It's not drama. It's not a charge. You're not done yet. So, okay, couple of questions.
Hi, my name is Matt. I'm calling from Paonia, Colorado. Thank you for all the work that you do. Here's my situation, I guess. My question. My mother was an abusive alcoholic, and as a result, I am the world's biggest people pleaser. Yesterday, I visited my local dispensary, and their air conditioning wasn't working. I like the people that work there, but I found myself at the gas station spending $60 on Gatorade and taking another half hour out of my day that I didn't have because I chose to bring the employees at the dispensary drinks when their AC was out. I mean, look, I'm all for being nice, but I just can't help it. My question is, how do I avoid this behavior when I'm dating? If running errands is this hard, you don't even want to know about my people-pleasing dating life. Thank you again for all the work that you do.
Oh my goodness. So risk it. Risk being you without over-functioning. Giving is different than over-functioning. Giving is a fill-up experience for you and for the other person. Over-functioning is a draining experience for you and the other person. So no over-functioning. Give what really fills you up and let that be enough and let that be it. Next question.
Am I the only one that's annoyed with Sigmund Freud? I'm annoyed with Freud, not because I think he's wrong, but because maybe he's right. My therapist says that Freud postulates that good, bad, or ugly, all that our subconscious knows how to do is recreate our childhood. What this means for me is that I've perhaps married my mother. Is Freud right? Did I marry my mom?
Freud's right. And then I'm hoping I can say it in a way that doesn't make it as gross as Freud's portrayal, right? But we all have mommy issues and we all have daddy issues and we all play out the pain patterns with our parents and our siblings and our family of origin that we experienced growing up until we heal them, period. So that's real. They can all heal, but we have to take responsibility. Again, I'll leave you with this today. Homework. Practice your communication. Talk about how you feel. Talk about what you need. Talk about what you want. Talk about what your boundaries are, but use I statements. No you. If there's a you in the sentence, you're in a whole bunch of drama and you're still playing out all your garbage from your past. They didn't do anything except help you see and access where you're not healed yet. So I want you to know how important to me you are. I want you to understand that I am feeling really scared and terrified to have this conversation because I'm afraid you're going to leave me. I am so angry and I don't know why. It's really confusing. And all I really want and need right now is a hug. Can you do that for me? That's an example of self-responsible communication where you don't lose you, you're independent, and you can have a relationship, and you can have both. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love, love, love getting to be with you in this moment. And I'm cheering you on your journey to more healing and magnificence in your relationships. Please note that the content of this podcast is not meant to be therapeutic or to replace any personal growth work that you are already doing with a coach, therapist, or mentor. Take the content, have it inspire you, and then keep working with your support system. Breakthrough is your right. Breakthrough reminds us that we're tougher together and that we're connected to possibility even in the most challenging and possibly darkest times. I'm Rebeccah Silence, creator of Healing is Possible and proud host of the Tougher Together Breakthrough podcast, where we come together and we tell stories of real breakthrough that exist for you as well. Get ready to break through. Get ready to live more free and get ready to experience more breakthrough because that's your right. If you like what you're hearing on the Tougher Together Breakthrough podcast with me, your host, Rebeccah Silence, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. If you want to get in touch with me, visit RebeccahSilence.com. Your time is now. Your breakthrough begins now.